of Allan Houston.
Look at that.
Guess who's here? Right here joining us on MSG PM, Knicks legend. Good to have you here. Let's talk about Fizzle. Tell me what the initials stand for, why it started, and what inspired you to kind of bring it together.
Well, Fizzle, first of all, it's great to be here. Like, it's like I'm finally here, man. I was like waiting for the call, and I got the call up. Now, Fizzle is an acronym: faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, and legacy. And it started, I played for my father at the University of Tennessee, first black coach in Southeastern Conference history, and I learned from that experience that relationship is so important, right, between a father, a coach, mentor. And we wanted to just share the principles that he gave me and just prepare young people for success. And, it's almost like when John Wooden had his high post or, the system of thinking, right, I think is important for young people, especially now, to help their inner growth and strength. And so that's where it started. And then, years ago, I was able to take it from a program to a brand. And so now we have partnerships with the NBA, Major League Baseball. We have 40 colleges that we're making apparel and design for. So this idea was just something that came out of a thought, a dream. And that's the things that we got a chance to share with Tracy and the young people, is that there's something inside you. You just have to compartmentalize it and plan it out and give it some thought and structure. And you need someone to help you. Like, the thing that we want them to understand is everybody needs a coach, right? Everybody needs someone to kind of push them, and that coach is going to give you something to propel you forward, but you need to hang on to that.
Definitely. Now, the MSG classroom that we just saw a snippet of seemed like a really engaged and captivated audience. What was your takeaway from that interaction?
Tracy's always great because he's so passionate. The MSG classroom is fun. During COVID, I was able to kind of engage with them because virtual meetings allows you to kind of share your story, hear their stories, bring on other influential people. But we just wanted to continue that process. So, when you're with young people, all of our attention spans are shorter, right?
That's very
so it's like all of us. So you have to have things that are engaging conversations. So I like to ask a lot of questions, right? So the questions we ask help them really think internally. And so it was really just a segment where we just have dialogue, but let's guide the dialogue a little bit and teach them, like, it's all about impact, right? How do you really want to make an impact? Like, you ask a player, how do you really want to impact winning? Right. It may not be how you think it is, but winning is not just in sports, it's in life. So it's really having them think about things they already want to do and having their mind, but it's the tools and strategies you need to do it.
Tracy Morgan's so full of life, right? Like, we see him at the Garden. If you're uptown, you might see his Ferrari drumming up and down the city. He's still out here, but people forget what he went through physically with that accident. And we spoke a little bit about it on the priest that we just saw. So talk to me about how you got Tracy Morgan involved and just, his sort of like inspiring story and how it related to those kids that we just talked to.
Well, Tracy, has always been an authentic fan. Like, he tells people, I used to have to go up in the second in the rafters, and now I'm in the front row, but he paid his dues, right? And literally, so we did a podcast, and he spoke into my daughter, and he spoke into my son, and he's so passionate. So whenever you hear him, it's coming from like a place that's deeper and higher than him. So he's like a vessel. So he's so passionate, and he combines, his comedy with his passion. But like you said, his testimony is so powerful. Like, he tells people, I shouldn't even be here. So now, like, everything he does is just an extra ounce of life. And so, he's just always down for whatever. He doesn't even think about himself. And I think he is Fizzle. Like, he is those principles embodied, right? And I just think it was great for him to share that and to be who he is.
Definitely. I think the guy you see on screen, and even sometimes when he's at the Garden, you still see him from a screen sort of lens. I won't say performing in a negative way, but he's on. He's a public figure. There's a sense of being on. And that felt like a much more candid, sort of off camera. Although the two definitely have symmetry, it just felt like you were getting a different version of Tracy.
Yeah, he, you know, I was fortunate enough to see him get the Friars Club, the Icon Award, and the thing about him is you could see like how professional he is, right? It's not like he's thought it out in his program, but he also knows how to draw that line between I'm a professional, but I'm real, and people don't realize how much work it takes, even to do what you all do, right? It's a lot of work to do what he does, what we do, and I think that's what he's able to kind of articulate really well.
Earlier you spoke about playing for your father, first black coach in the Southeastern Conference, and how that inspired you to eventually start Fizzle.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's the ultimate goal for you when it comes to creating this?
Well, first, what have y'all accomplished? Because I was a part of a movie premiere that y'all did. That was super cool.
Yeah. So we basically, my whole thing is like, again, how do these principles live? Where do they live? Like, the one thing you want people to do is define your values, right? And just live by them. So I think the fashion and the technology, we have a 30-minute short film called Coachable.
Yep.
We have an app where we allow these the people to engage with each other, to kind of have some positive form of communication in social media. But the ultimate goal is really to help these young people live better, perform better, and lead better. Like, make a big impact and do it in a tangible way. So if you want to kind of learn from us about how to build your own brand, we're on 40 college campuses, starting the clubs, social impact clubs on campuses, and really just continue to build out the network so that young people can know how to plug into these values and just be better for society and for yourself.
I love that. All right. Fizzle's great, and we want those principles to show forth or shine through in this year's Knicks squad.
That's right.
And that is the transition. All right, what you thinking as you look ahead to the 2022-23 season? I mean, we obviously...
I could weave Fizzle into it because, like...
Go ahead. Come on.
Well,
branding.
The first thing, the first thing is, like, when you start a season, you got to really believe, right?
For sure.
In something bigger than yourself.
For
and I think the thing that we saw last year is how can we stay connected to each other through the good and bad times and get through those. And I think the one thing that everybody has done is they worked their butt off all summer. Like, everybody has worked and worked. And what I'm seeing in training camp and moving forward is that you can see, guys are shooting the ball better. They're in shape, right? They're in a good connective place, right? But you still know in New York that you're going to hit some obstacles. So it's like, how do we prepare for those moments, get ahead of them? I think one of the goals that everybody's talking about is let's play better at home, right? Let's have a good home record. I think Jalen's going to help. Because he brings some stability, right? And I remember being a free agent and people were like, what kind of personality does this person have? And when you have a kind of a stable personality, it bodes well here. And I think he has a strong enough personality. RJ's, he's just gonna keep getting better.
He's another
Gonna keep getting better,
yeah.
right? I think Julius is in good spirits. I think I'm excited for him because there's like this balance between in a good mental place, but playing with a chip.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a balance there that he's going to have. I'm excited about it. Everybody. I mean, Mitch is making his mark so far. And he likes the challenge. That's been put on him. I think everybody feels like, don't challenge me like that because this is New York. We're gonna come out with a certain energy.
They've heard the chatter all season. They've heard the chatter from a lot of people, and sometimes it's good to hear that chatter because they need that sort of inspiration.
Well, I think, like Tibbs is always going to help you be prepared. And thing is,
that's a nice way of putting it.
But so it's up to you as a player to say, okay, how do I take that preparation and execute it on a consistent basis? And have all the little nuances that you need as a team to stay connected, And I think that's what we need.
All right.
You know, I don't ever want to hear you say you finally made it to this chair. You can come in whenever you want. You're always welcome.
Absolutely.
Knicks legend,
Yeah.
Allan Houston, thanks for coming to MSGPN.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.